Hello everyone and welcome to round 7 or the 16th of May. Let's get in there. It's clear weather, which is nice. We get some airstrikes in and we're up to 30 victory points, so nearly halfway. 6% losses, a bit grim, but Belgians have taken a beating somewhere in between the turns. And right, first things first, let's go look at the replay. We'll go through them all this time, and this is the 18th under my command. We basically move up to position, hammer them with artillery where we can, and fail an attack there, which is a bit unfortunate. As you can see, just keeping the pressure on as much as we can, although the rough terrain and the dense forest makes it difficult. We also spot some targets over there, but don't actually manage to do very much to them because of the rain. Yeah, we also shoot along here, along the side, and hopefully that will cause these guys to fall back. Elsewhere in the forests, we kind of just push forward. I don't think they expected our reserves to come from nowhere, and so there's suddenly a lot more infantry than the French player was anticipating. So I think they may have had a bit of a surprise there. But yeah, this is largely it for 18th. Artillery does what it can, and we bust up a regiment there pretty good, and then they completely evaporate, which is nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We just now move on to 6th Army, also under my command. And yeah, a lot of airstrikes on overstacked units, not very effective again because of all the damn rain. The reserves move up, the infantry kind of pushes forward, and yeah, like I pointed out last time, they'd pretty much run for it. So our ability to get to grips with them this turn was fairly limited. But yeah, we've basically moved up everyone we can. I'm trying to keep everyone in good order and divisions and corps in the same place, which is not as easy as you'd think with this sheer amount of regiments running about. Yeah, that surprised me a lot, that attack. 3-1 odds on a Belgian unit that had been hit by artillery, and we completely and utterly flubbed it, so I wasn't very pleased with this. We're bringing a mobile regiment around this side and swapping their headquarters so I can hopefully get them over this river line and threaten to run away down this side with them. This French mobile regiment gets attacked a bit, and then once I actually start moving the mobile troops, you'll see that it gets surrounded and eliminated. So always good to take down a few more Frenchies. But it was in quite poor shape originally, which is why it couldn't escape like the rest of them. Yeah, the big aim this turn was to threaten these 2 key hexes with the 3 hex side attacks possible. Yeah, just completely eliminated the remnants of that regiment. And as you can see, there's a lot of units moving up. This is where the mobile units come and kind of concentrate into a fist pointing at Charleroi, but we aren't anticipating going directly through it. It's just too good a defensive position. So we're going to go south here, I think, and BB Joe is going to try and break through the thinner river above. Right, on to 4th Army. They move around the north of Antwerp. I do wish he would stop sending his panzer divisions on a fool's errand, but it is what it is. I'd much prefer if they were supporting in the centre there, but there's an enormous amount of infantry coming down from the south that just really there isn't a lot that can be done with them. They could settle in and begin sieging Antwerp while the panzers went south, but you know, it is what it is. Same sort of thing, he's got a lot of straggling troops because of the initial placement. But overall, the Belgians aren't particularly strong in direct combat, so he should be able to break them down bit by bit as long as he gets enough artillery focused on them to destroy the forts. More of the same, just playing catch up, repairing bridges. Baby Joey knocks back these guys and takes that. Hopefully we'll be able to get some bridges across the river shortly. Yep, just completely eliminated that whole division of Belgians, which is nice. And now 12th Army is up on the front line here, which frees up more panzers. He's gotten a good hit in there. Let me just quickly go back. Oh no. Yeah, it looks like these French things, I'm not very familiar with them, so it looks like a bunch of planes, whoever got hit. I had pointed this out to him that they were very overstacked there. And again here, more and more. Okay, that's surprising. Yeah, I would not have expected the Belgians to hold there. And they certainly weren't on this side. Okay, let's see what he does with Panzer Group Kleist after this. Good hit there. Bunch of artillery got broken. And some engineers. That's interesting. He's really stacking up on the river there. Looks like he's threatening Charleroi. But I'm sure the French player will withdraw across the river or into the actual city itself before we can get it under attack properly. More of the same. Panzer Group Kleist continues to orient more south, which is nice. I think you can't really see it in the replay, but there's a big solid wall of BEF and Belgians all along these river lines. So they're going to be very, very unpleasant to cross. Some sort of desultory artillery, because the artillery units were moving, they couldn't get some good attacks in. Which again looks like he's overtaking or at least catching up to most of the fleeing Dutch. So yeah, I've been quite impressed by his 16th Army so far. They've done a good job without any mobile units and a bunch of encirclement. So the real problem for the polder becomes there's only really three crossings with rail or roads intact. One thing it does is you can see these road and rail links get destroyed. Okay, the French are hitting back as much as they can, and not surprisingly falling back here. That is unfortunate, but we at least inflicted quite a lot more casualties than we took, so can't complain too hard. Even there we went about equal. They're very overstacked here, so we'll see what happens. Oh, he's almost completely abandoned that side of the river. Still the French and the Belgians not having much effect with their artillery. They are significantly worse than the German ones. So, oh, that's, wow. That is quite surprising. But that German unit just dissolved. Ouch. To a bunch of Belgians nonetheless. Yeah, we've taken a lot of casualties. It's much worse than I had sort of anticipated, to be completely honest. And the amount they're bleeding us, I wouldn't expect us to stay under the casualty cap. I think 25% is a bit harsh considering we gave the Allies pretty much every advantage they could have had. I think 25% would have been reasonable if we'd had a non-free setup, but yeah, letting them set up wherever they wanted unsurprisingly results in them acting a lot better and smarter than they would have, than they did in real life because of the powers of foresight, I guess. Looks like the Belgians are pulling back and letting the BEF take up places. Yeah, this is where the really difficult fighting begins. Ouch. At least we're hurting their planes when they try and get at us. Okay, finally onto the Dutch. For some reason I can't really see them, but they are obviously running for their lives, trying to get across the polder before 16th Army catches and squashes them. Perhaps unsurprisingly. Cool, okay, that is all complete. Let's have a look at the front. We've already reached the channel. That well done us. In the north here, that is quite a... What does the C represent? Perhaps it's a reserve marker or something, because they seem to be fairly poorly equipped. This surprises me that they haven't got anything in this northern forts. And yeah, there's quite a lot of infantry coming here. I guess just they're going to have to siege down Antwerp. And this again, quite a surprise here, because 12th Army can, in all likelihood, surround and eliminate those guys. Elsewhere, not a lot to report. Let me just quickly check the OKH and the other army groups for command cards, but they don't have any. No more special cards to play. The big one is the 7th. That's interesting. I do wonder what we're going to be able to do, because if we can cross there and then swing across and take this bridge, we'll be in quite a good position to potentially cut off a chunk of units around here, which yeah, that would be quite positive. They're also quite overstacked. Oh, that's a fortress. They're also quite overstacked with artillery in that particular hex, so they're definitely going to pound them with planes. Same thing here. Yeah, they're really struggling to cooperate well enough to not overstack hexes, which is good and bad. So yeah, I think the plan this turn is to get across the river and try and hook around and encircle a bunch of units in here. We will have to see what we can do. Over here, I mean, theoretically, we can go straight through the fields here. These guys are in fairly poor readiness, so if we can charge north, get around there, and then perhaps break through one of these hexes, we could potentially do a little encirclement there. But yeah, we shall have to see. Here is the whole map. And I'm just going to grab a couple of screenshots for everybody. All right, thanks a lot everyone, and I will see you next turn.